This whole planet's a freak show.
Time to shine, Corporal! Get us out of here!
She is our bridge to a better humanity.
He's here.
I am a huge fan of the Aliens movies. It's without a doubt one of my favorite franchises of all time. And the Alien universe has such a great potential to be expanded upon. I love the Aliens video games, even the bad ones I find enjoyment from. And believe it or not, the novels set within the Alien universe are actually really good. There's a ton of them, and some of them are pretty bad, but for the most part, they're pretty good. So when I heard that a new video game was coming out set in the Aliens universe, of course I was going to play. The game just came out today. I just drove to the store to pick up a physical copy. I played it for a few hours, and now I'm gonna give you guys my first impressions of it. I'm gonna tell you if I think it's worth buying and playing this game based on the amount of time that I played. But I will say this is a real-time strategy game, and I've never played one of those games before. I've played some strategy video games. I've played a little bit of Mario Rabbids and XCOM back in the day, but I've never played a video game like this. So just know that this review is coming from the perspective of someone who's never played a game like this before. But anyway, I'm going to show you some raw gameplay. I'm going to get into the review, but before I do that, you should consider subscribing. I talk about horror video games all the time. I just released another review based on another Alien video game, Grey Hill Incident. I've done an Amnesia the Bunker review. I've talked about Resident Evil 4, Dead Space remake. So consider subscribing if you're into horror video games, but I also do trailer reactions, TV show discussions, movie discussions, that sort of thing. But anyway, let's get into the review. I'm going to give you a slight spoiler warning here. I'm not going to go too in-depth about the plot, and I'm not going to show you any gameplay from any further than about an hour and a half in. And just another reminder that this is the first real-time strategy game that I have ever played. As you can probably tell from the gameplay, which if you're an avid real-time strategy player, I'm sure this gameplay is probably pissing you off. And again, I am not too far into this game. I've played for about a total of 5 hours, so this video is very much my first impressions as opposed to an overall review. This is just me telling you if I think that you should play it based on the amount of time that I've played it, if it's worth $40, because a lot of people give up on games before they even hit the 5-hour mark. Those first few hours are what make and break so many games. And this is what this video is. It's me telling you if I think that the first 5 hours made or broke this game. And depending on how this video performs, I will do a follow-up video once I beat it. I'll make a whole review about my overall thoughts having completed the game. So let me know if you'd be interested in that. But anyway, I'm going to talk about the plot first. I'm not going to go in too much detail. I'm not going to spoil anything. But what I am going to say is that I'm surprised at how engaging I found this plot to be, at least the setup for this plot. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I am an avid fan of the Alien universe, and I like to go out of my way to consume any story set within this universe. And this isn't one of the best, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say that it's next level amazing. I'm not going to say that it stands toe in toe with the first Alien movie or Aliens, obviously. I'm not going to say that. But when it comes to newer Alien stories, comic books, novels, other video games, this seems pretty good. Now, I really hope that the plot doesn't lose steam as the game progresses. It seems like it runs the risk of being one of those games that gives you a strong setup narratively and then goes hours and hours and hours of barely touching the story, and then the story comes back into the fold later on. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying I hope that's not what happens here, but based on the setup, I enjoyed it. Now I'm going to talk about the gameplay, and the gameplay is, for the most part, you controlling a squad of Colonial Marines, and you set them up on missions, and in those missions there's several main objectives you have to do, some side stuff, and then you gather and you collect resources. And as you progress through the game, you unlock new gear, new weapons, and more customizable options, which makes each mission more enjoyable than the last, in my opinion. Because a huge portion of what made this game so fun for me, so enjoyable, and yes, I'm gonna say that right now, I do really like this game. But again, what made it so fun for me was choosing my loadout and customizing my Marines and choosing who I was gonna bring with me on any given mission. And difficulty, man, this game is hard. Again, for the 40th time, this is my first real-time strategy game, so I can't say how the difficulty compares to other real-time strategy games, but for me, for a newbie, I got my ass handed to me constantly, and I loved it. I loved the challenge and I loved the difficulty because it gave me more incentive to get better, to try new gameplay techniques, to approach a mission in a different way than I did previously. After I played the tutorial, I thought I was ready, but the first time I was left to my own devices, I got fucked up over and over and over again. And there's so much tension when you're playing a game like this, and I wasn't expecting that. Sometimes I would lose a Marine or a Marine would go down, and I had to decide in the moment whether or not I wanted to try an evac and get the hell out of there, whether I wanted to barricade myself in a room and wait them out, or whether or not I wanted to double down and just try and slaughter all the xenomorphs. And you have to make decisions very fast, unless you're going to be standing there with your thumb up your ass and your whole squad is going to get just demolished brutally in front of you. And I gotta say, real-time strategy games, at least this one, is so overwhelming compared to turn-based strategy games, a genre that I have dabbled in a little bit, like I said earlier. But with each new attempt, I got better and better and better. And I'm being honest with you, I cannot wait to finish recording this and editing this and releasing this video so I can jump back onto my PS5 and continue playing this, because I feel like I just got KO'd in round 1 and I am so hyped for a rematch. In this game, you have the option to either slow down time or pause time when you're choosing what skill you want to use. I chose to completely pause time because I am a newbie to this, and it did help a lot, but once I get good, I'm gonna swap back to slow down time just to keep that intensity there. But I do appreciate the choice. And I really wasn't expecting a game of this genre to be frightening, but it was. Okay, don't get me wrong, this isn't a horror game. This isn't on the levels of Dead Space level alien space horror, but there is so much tension on your radar when you hear the blips, when you see the little white dots on your map, letting you know that there's xenomorphs around. It's bad enough when there's one, but when 2 pop up, when 3 pop up, and you really have to strategize, which hallway are you gonna go down? Are you gonna hide? Are you gonna wait them out? Are you gonna use a decoy device? There's so much going on, and it's so tense, and I love it. Because people, well, I don't know if people, but at least me, when I hear the term strategy game, I think of things being slow. I think of you taking your time like you're sitting at a chessboard and you're weighing all your options. Now, granted, there is some decision making, there is some downtime in this game where you really get to think about what you want to do, but for the most part, you cannot look away. You cannot blink. But now I really wonder how long this high is going to last, because I am really loving this game. It is such a surprise to me, especially after playing the Greyhill incident. I really hope it's not one of those games that relies on the same style of mission structure where it feels like you're doing the same objectives and playing the same levels over and over and over again. I hope locations change. I hope mission structure changes. I hope unlocking new weapons and new abilities and new skills really does change up the feel of gameplay, and I hope that that lasts throughout the duration of the game, because I can say it feels like this game has the potential to blow its load really early and then be boring, and then I end up not finishing it. But I, again, really hope that's not the case. Now let's talk about some negatives. I honestly don't have that many negatives because I am not too far into this game, and I don't really know how to compare it to other real-time strategy games, and I haven't watched other people's reviews, I haven't read any comments, I haven't seeked out what others have thought about this game, so I do recommend you go watch some other reviews or you go read some other people's opinions, because I'm sure some people have some critiques somewhere, and I don't want you to go into this game completely blind just based on what I'm saying. So you should check out other reviews, get your thoughts more well-rounded before jumping in. But the biggest critique that I do have, that I have witnessed, that I have experienced is, my God, the facial animations in this game are horrible. And the voice acting is not bad, but the voices do not match up with the face and what the mouth is saying, and it doesn't sound natural. It doesn't sound like people are talking in whichever given environment. It sounds like people are talking into microphones, and then that audio is just layered over the visuals. It just does not seem organic or natural at all, and it really does take away from the experience, in my opinion.
Protocol dictates.
How many times? Company protocol doesn't mean anything out here. What works, works. And we're already behind schedule.
Director Price?
Isn't here. And if I do recall correctly, Deputy Administrator Hayes, your shift ended half an hour ago. So get the hell off my command deck and let me do my job.
And also, it is so annoying hearing the lead soldier in your squad shout the same 3 things every single time that you command your squad to move. Let's move it, slugs! Move it! Let's go! Come on! Every 5 seconds, and it honestly makes me really not enjoy this game as much as I'd like to. So developers, if you're listening to this, which you're not, please patch that. That is so annoying. But anyway, there's my brief and quick thoughts, my first impressions on Aliens Dark Descent. Have you played this game? Do you plan to play this game? Let me know in the comments, and please recommend me other real-time strategy games, because I think this game has turned me into an official fan of the genre. But anyway, thank you for watching. Once again, you should consider subscribing. I talk about horror video games all the time on this page, but I also do trailer reactions, TV show discussions, movie discussions, that sort of thing. Thank you for watching, especially if you watch this far.
Shut that door! Shut that door!